But he wants a
Yeah.
universal tariff at 10% for all foreign imported products. All of
Yeah,
them.
I can't see his team, because like he's gonna have to put his name on that, and it's gonna be a total loser of a policy.
Well, what does
And
he
I have
care?
to think.
His last term anyway.
I mean, I have to think that the people around him are gonna be like, dude, this is gonna be a terrible idea. Because at least with the tariffs on China, you can sell that very easily as part of a comprehensive package of China is super dangerous. We need to confront China. Like the American people are already primed to think that way and understand it in those terms. And so any attacks against you for that reason, you know, prices are going up a little bit. Oh, what? You don't care about fighting China. Like as long as you have that there,
I don't know, man. If
I could
it
definitely see
somehow
that
has
happening.
if it somehow has like secondary effects of keeping eggs expensive, I think people would care.
Yeah, I don't see really anything like that. I mean, with China, the biggest thing is going to be things like manufactured goods and finished products and stuff like that.
So like I
But
can't
again,
afford to buy
there
my
are
kids shoes because all of them get made in China.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens there as far as like the value added, like the low value added chain. Like I said, I think I've told you guys this before. One of my favorite things to do when I go to like Walmart is look and see where things are made.
Mm-hmm.
And like more and more things are made in like India, Vietnam, Cambodia. Like fewer and fewer like low value added goods are coming from China. And it's because China has long since ceased to be the sort of just low cost, low value added workshop of the world. Like that stuff is moving elsewhere. China has moved up the value chain. I mean, I think the reason that you're seeing this the EU did it too is targeting Chinese like electric vehicles, for example,
Mm-hmm.
because they put out electric vehicles, and I mean for $13,000, you wouldn't believe what you can buy. I mean,
Yeah.
you might be aware,
Yeah.
like it's absolutely baffling. Actually, the Ford CEO, Farley, I think his name is. You can look this up. He's been driving a Chinese electric
A
vehicle.
BYD, I think, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
For the last 6 months. And he says, I don't want to give it up. And this is Tom Farley, the head of Ford. Their company's been gobbling up subsidies from the American government, to build EVs and stuff. And actually, they took a huge write down, actually, on a lot of that stuff. So yeah, I think there's very clear political constituencies that you have to serve. And so like protecting jobs in places like Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, those manufacturing and those steel jobs, like you have to do that politically because those states matter. And so again, like Henry said, those the policy of tariffs and stuff, and especially towards China, that's going to continue. And it's just simple politics. It really has nothing to do with economics. It's just politics at this point. It's subsidizing important political constituencies for either major party. And we're going to pay the cost for that. We're going to pay higher prices for that, but it's to protect, those jobs, important voters.
Let's talk about foreign policy, because we already know
Okay.
that Trump's gonna bring in some freaks. One of his promises, or something, I don't even know if it's his promise, but he's alluding to it, that no, it is a promise, because he says day one after he's elected, he'll be able to call Putin and end the war.
Says the same thing about Gaza
Which Putin
too.
said no.
So what do you think the chances are? I know a lot of people who think that's going to be his main policy coup, is ending the war in Ukraine. What do you think the chances of that happening are?
Very close to
33%.
I'm going to go with very close to zero. Russia has committed a great deal to this already. They've bled him out. They've been bled. Vladimir Putin already said, like, whoever's the president, like, it doesn't change our policy. Like, we're very close to achieving our objectives, and we're just going to keep going. And for Trump, he should not invest very much political capital in this. Americans don't really care. It's not that high on their list. And he can just continue to say, never would have happened if I'd been president. And this is Joe Biden's disaster mess. And I'm trying my best to clean it up, but I got other things going on. He's not going to expend a lot of political capital on that. and it'll go where it goes. Europe
been
will
2
probably
years.
take a back seat.
Most people don't know the war is going on still.
Right. It's
I mean, it
it's
was
not
hot
in the
news.
headlines. Like you have to dig
Yeah.
in the corporate press to find news about this stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
it depends, right? Because the news of North Korean soldiers now entering the fray, I think, has given the Ukraine war a little bit of a spike in the news. I have been seeing
Definitely.
headlines about that, but that's more for like, fear mongering clickbait rather than, this is a hot topic that Americans care about reading about. But I agree with Joe. I don't think that the US and to a greater extent Trump has any political or material leverage over Putin's decision making in this war. I think you're absolutely right. I think he's way too entrenched in it to, even if we did have leverage to do anything about it. We're going to put more sanctions on Russia. It's the most sanctioned country in the world right now. Like where are we going to embargo, like hard embargo them? Good luck. We're going to start a war with them. That's not Trump's MO. I'll give Trump credit for not starting any wars in the past. Like if he continues that trend, he's not going to want to do that either. We're gonna give Ukraine more advanced weapons. Putin's already said it that would be an antagonistic, offense, and that he would strike the countries, under which that provided them those weapons. Like Putin was saying he wanted to hit Poland or Romania if F-16s are flying out of Poland and Romania to strike deep into Russia. Like we have no leverage. There's no leverage there.
So I was reading the other day.
Leverage and go ahead.
Oh, I was reading the other day. This guy in Zelensky's cabinet went on like some diplomatic meeting and just never came back to the country. The war is going to be won on the battlefield, and the only thing that Trump will do is try to salvage something for them at the end. Like he'll try to step up and be like, I got Zelensky a good deal. He got to keep Kiev. Like that will be.
That's exactly it. It'll be a spin. It'll be spin at the end. Just Trump trying to put something out there.
And most likely, I haven't been following the battlefield stuff as much as I used to, but it certainly looks like all the momentum is with Russia. The Ukrainians are retreating out of Kursk. We
must be reading different things, man. Because last thing I heard about Kursk is that they sent a shit ton of North Koreans in there, and they got their asses handed to them.
That's not true, man. That's fake news. The North Koreans are not on the Ukrainian battlefront, man. They're on they're people studying, but they're not fighting, man. They're like they've
captured several of them. So what are they doing on the front lines?
What, according to the Ukrainians?
They have video, dude. I've watched it.
Yeah, some random Asian guy they put on a uniform, dude. The Ukrainian state is
Asian
like
guys,
just makes
plural?
they're Asian people who are there, like believe it or not, and they just throw you like they do photo cropping, and they're like, oh look, we got a North Korean soldier. The Ukrainian
that's
state
a bit
is
too conspiracy
completely
theory for me, man. I've seen what I've seen. We can agree to disagree on that point.
Ukrainian state is completely is 100% desperate. Like they will do anything at this point. The state is in a matter of survival. I've been saying that. I've been one of those people who've been like, yeah, Ukraine's going to collapse in a couple of months, and like they've been going on for over 2 years at this point. So I've underestimated their two things. They're first and foremost their will to fight, and second, the amount like how much their military was built up. But Russia has most of Donbass now. I think pretty much virtually all of it. There's really not that much. I mean, it's just a matter of like how much else do you want to lose at this point? And I don't like the deals that would be politically acceptable that are being thrown out are like, hey, like, this is what we'll do. Like, they won't join NATO, but you get up and you leave all the area, you can keep Crimea, but you have to give up all the other territories that you annex. And I'm just like, that's not going to happen, man. They're not doing that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing is the things that would be politically acceptable in the United States are not the things that are politically acceptable in Russia